Manx Radio's Update with Dave Moore.
The time is 5 o'clock. You're listening to Manx Radio. I'm Dave Moore. This is Update. Welcome to the programme. Half an hour of the latest news in the art of man, plus sport, business, travel updates, along with the newsmakers in person. Coming up, Manx Care says it deeply regrets errors it made handling a data request. Meanwhile, the health body's warning its breast clinic will not run as smoothly in the coming weeks due to staffing. And a TT winner says he's still hopeful of competing at this year's event despite losing his planned ride yesterday. That's all coming up in the next half hour. First of all, the update news headlines with Lewis Foster. Faster My.
The mountain road has reopened, with planned maintenance work due to get underway today postponed. It's due to an issue with the Department of Infrastructure's asphalt plant. Preparation works ahead of the TT are now due to get underway on Monday the 7th. Douglas MHK says government is wrong to press ahead with what he terms blanket 20 miles an hour schemes.
I think the public want 20 mile per hour zones in specific places. We don't want blanket schemes, we want intelligent schemes.
That's Chris Thomas's view on plans that would see the new speed limit implemented throughout residential areas. Government says reducing traffic speeds in residential areas is seen as an important step towards improving people's quality of life and creating streets that are safe and inclusive. Wildlife surveys are set to get underway in the south of the island as part of plans for a possible wind farm. Ecologist experts will be monitoring bats, birds, frogs and owls in the Erie, Staine and Scards areas. And police are appealing for information after a woman was bitten by a dog in Crosby. It happened at around 10 o'clock this morning on the Ayrton Road. The dog, off the lead at the time, is described as a collie breed, and the male owner is thought to be in his 60s. In the latest international news now, police say 64 charges brought against the owner of a chain of funeral directors relate to 254 victims. 47-year-old Robert Bush will appear in court in June, accused of offences including preventing lawful burials, fraud and theft. An investigation was launched last year into remains found at 3 parlours in and around Hull. The UK Chancellor says the nation will approach the prospect of Donald Trump's tariffs in a clear-headed way. Rachel Reeves has told MPs the government there won't do anything that jeopardises the good economic agreement between Britain and the US. The President's preparing to announce a range of sweeping import taxes tonight. And conservation experts are urging homeowners not to mow their lawns over the coming months to boost butterfly numbers. More than half of UK species are said to be in long-term decline. Those are the headlines. We'll be back with the news at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, Lewis. And now looking at the weather, and March seems to be continuing into April. Certainly the dry weather, that is. Dry with sunny, clear spells to end the day. Moderate to fresh easterly winds, a minimum temperature of 7 Celsius overnight. Another fine and dry day tomorrow. But there is a possibility of some thin upper level cloud developing at times, and it'll be feeling just a bit breezy in the fresh to strong east wind, with temperatures up to 15 or 16 in the afternoon. Settled weather will continue for the rest of the week. Temperatures return closer to average, though, for this time of the year over the weekend.
Manx Glass and Glazing can supply and install single, double and triple glazing. Call 674 573 or visit the showroom on the Snugborough Trading Estate.
If you run a small business or just need more room in the back, Philshaw Vehicles has the perfect van or light commercial for all your needs and can sort out any finance. Based in the Tremode Estate, view philshawvehicles.im or call 49 51 49.
A great night's sleep got even better with Zed's Bedding Store. From quality Beldorm bed linen and mattress protectors, fleece and woven throws to luxury duvets from the fine bedding company Zed's Bedding Ramsey, next to Isle of Man Bank.
SMS Trading have moved to 3 St Paul's Square, Ramsey. For flat pack to fully built, new or second-hand furniture, SMS Trading offer all-island delivery and man-in-a-van service. Call 315151 or find SMS Trading on Facebook.
At Begode Cashery, we have been caring for animals for over 50 years. As a cashery, we care for customers' cats and treat them as our own. contact Begode Cattery on 676 947 or find Begode Cattery on Facebook.
You're listening to the Isle of Man's quintessential daily news and current affairs roundup. Update on Manx Radio.
Manx Care says it deeply regrets the errors made handling a data request and will continue to improve its practice to avoid future issues. It comes after the Information Commissioner issued an enforcement notice to the island's healthcare provider after it failed to comply with regulations in its response to a subject access request. Sean Cowper has this report.
The Commissioner's report found numerous infringements, including that Manx Care failed to respond without undue delay and that searches were poorly focused, not reasonable or insufficient. In response, Manx Care says it takes any concerns raised by the ICO very seriously and fully recognises the importance of timely and correct responses to such requests. The delay, it says, was due to a misinterpretation of the information sought and a records search that was not sufficiently robust. It adds that it's committed to ensuring full compliance with data protection laws and that a review of processes and procedures is an ongoing process. Manx Care also revealed the number of subject access requests it receives has more than doubled since 2022, when it was receiving 44 per month. In March 2025, it received more than 100. The organisation previously received a similar enforcement notice in August 2021. Manx Care says since then it's reviewed processes, improved monitoring and reallocated staff resources.
Sean Cowper reporting. Meanwhile, Manx Care says the breast clinic services will not be running as smoothly as usual over the coming weeks. It's due to unexpected staffing disruption, as Amy Griffiths reports.
The healthcare provider says it hoped to have a breast radiologist in place by now, but an emergency short-term absence mean they won't be in place for at least the next 4 weeks. This will severely impact the service. Manx Care says there's already a shortage of available breast radiologists across the British Isles, and because it's an interconnected environment in the UK, it means the island's very isolated, making it even harder to recruit someone suitable at short notice. It says it's putting alternative plans in place, securing locum staff where possible, but has admitted that there will be some disruption. Anybody due to be reviewed in the clinic this week as part of the temporary two-stop service has already been seen, but if an ultrasound scan was recommended, then that will occur sometime within the next 10 days. Temporary cover has been organised for this week and is provisionally planned for the next few weeks. Manx Care says it's committed to finding a sustainable solution, but will commit to providing weekly updates. In a statement, it says, "We understand that this may be distressing and we'd like to reassure our community that we are working hard to find both short-term and long-term solutions and are keeping in regular contact with our patients." Anyone affected has already been contacted, but those who feel they may have a breast problem in the meantime are asked to contact their GP.
You're listening to the Isle of Man's quintessential daily news and current affairs roundup. Update on Manx Radio.
TT winner James Hillier says he's now exploring other options for this season following the shock developments yesterday at WTF Racing. He's given an update to fans after the team confirmed yesterday evening it's cancelling its road racing plans due to significant commercial circumstances beyond the team's control.
Just wanted to do a video. I think it's easier to try and explain what I do know with the current situation rather than trying to write a big post out. Firstly, a big thank you to all the messages of support, and the phone's been pretty crazy since yesterday afternoon when the news was released, and that was honestly a big shock. I think I really didn't see that coming. It's not great timing, and especially on April Fool's Day. I wished it was a joke, but unfortunately it isn't. I also want to say a big thank you to Alan Gardner and all the effort and time he's put into racing with OMG and WTF. It's the whole team actually. Ollie and Paul at PCR do a lot of the groundwork behind the scenes. It's hard on everybody, so a big thank you for their efforts in the past. But where I stand at the minute, I don't quite know. It's work in progress to try and sort some machinery and get something in place. We've not got a whole lot of time. We're supposed to be on the new bikes this coming weekend in Spain testing, which I was really looking forward to actually, and that's now not happening. So we have to work something out, get something in place, and but but I will share what I can with you when I can, and hopefully in the coming days I'll have some good news. But I need to get thinking hat on and get raising some funds, really, because that's going to be the biggest thing, is funding the operation, which is certainly in today's economic climate is not easy. So bear with us. Thanks again for the support, and I'll update you soon.
That's TT rider James Hillier. Meanwhile, tonight the mountain road should have been closed to allow several weeks' worth of resurfacing to get underway ahead of this year's event. But as you'll know, if you're currently driving on it, there's been a hiccup. Lewis Foster reports.
The Department of Infrastructure says, unfortunately, the asphalt plant at Portown Quarry has suffered a gearbox failure and cannot produce, asphalt. Resurfacing or road reconstruction works on the TT mountain course have to be completed a month ahead of the first practice session to ensure that the new surface is sufficiently trafficked prior to racing. And as it cannot be confirmed when the asphalt plant will be back in operation, the DOI has decided it's prudent to postpone these works. Whilst resurfacing now can't take place before the TT or the Manx Grand Prix get underway, other pre-TT work such as signage installation, gully clearing and safety barrier installation are now due to start on Monday, the 7th of April, with the road closed from 9:30 in the morning. This will be along the section from the bungalow to the Cregna Bar, which will stay closed until Friday, the 11th of April. From Monday, the 14th of April, the road will then close from the bungalow to Ramsey, 24 hours a day, until Thursday, the 17th. During the closures, the Snaefell Mountain Railway will operate as normal, and the Snaefell Summit Cafe and Victory Cafe will be accessible from Sulby via the Thalty Will Road at all times. The Cregna Bar will also be accessible from Douglas via Hilbury and Laxey via the Cregna Bar Back Road.
Manx Radio Travel, driven by Quayside Tyres and Service Centre.
Thank you, Lewis. So we go from the roads and switch to the airport, where everything is on time. That includes the Loganair departure at 6:20 to Liverpool, the EasyJet flight to Gatwick at 7:30, and the Loganair flight to Edinburgh at 5:08, all showing on time. And in terms of the arrivals, Manchester's Loganair is due in at 10:06. Gatwick from EasyJet due in at 7. Edinburgh's Loganair flight is due in 7:25, with the London City flight, the Loganair service, due to land at 8:10, and 5 minutes later at 8:15, the Loganair flight from Liverpool is due in then. It's the Ben McCree this afternoon that's coming in from Heysham, and it's due in around quarter of an hour's time. I can't see it just yet from my position here on Douglas Head.
Quayside Tyres and Service Centre, with 1 year's free engine warranty from Castrol. Get more with
FC Isle of Man's Vice Chairman hopes the return of a major pre-season football tournament on the island this summer could have wider benefits than just what happens on the pitch. Lee Dixon and the clubs announced the Summer Festival of Football at the Bowl from the 18th to the 20th of July will include Football League side Fleetwood Town and National League outfits Altrincham and Radcliffe.
Last year was absolute chaos because of how late in the day we started the process, and obviously it seemed a little bit like it was a very off the cuff. We managed to pull off a fantastic festival, but the irony is we've only just found out how successful it was in the last 2 months, because the minute I started speaking to teams, it brought more teams out the woodwork, and the amount of teams that actually contacted me requesting to come was incredible. And I think it just shows that the job we did last year was a very good one. And hopefully if we can carry out the same sort of thing this year and make it even better, I'm sure next summer that we'll find out again that the teams are going to get better and better that want to come and see what the Isleman's got to offer football-wise.
Last year's Summer Festival, for the teams that came over then, the likes of Chester, Radcliffe, Lancaster City, what were the biggest things they enjoyed about the island?
I think it's an opportunity for them to get away from the sort of pressure cooker environment that they're in. Gets them away, they get a little bit of team bonding away from their usual stresses. Obviously, it's all good and well going off to Europe on your tours and what have you, but it's not always very inclusive for the travelling fans in terms of cost. So hopefully the Isle of Man, in terms of distance and cost, can be very competitive and make it attractive to fans, and then we can get hundreds and hundreds, as we did last year, coming and bringing money into the Manx economy.
What would you say is the biggest draw for supporters coming down to this festival, if indeed they want to?
I think they can come in their droves and they can mix and mingle at the football, because there'll be no segregation this year. So the fans get to mix and mingle together like they do in rugby. They get to come and see the Isle of Man and no doubt enjoy a few nights out in the pubs, bars and restaurants around the island. And hopefully our island, as it does TT Week, it just brings a really nice atmosphere. That's what football and sport is all about, isn't it? Bringing people together.
And some nice weather as well, hopefully. The 4,000 plus employees under the Public Service Commission's accepted through their 3 unions a 4% pay increase, but for just 12 months. Fresh talks now start over a figure for at least one additional year, maybe more. The PSC chair, MHK, Ron Collister, told John Moss it's been hoped for a longer period to be covered by any agreement.
The 3-year deal was good. The unions did not accept that, and we have to respect that. Obviously, then we had a 2-year deal, which again wasn't accepted. Obviously, a 2-year deal has less value to the employer, so that's why we made a slight adjustment from a deal of 4% and a 2.5%.
Just bringing uncertainty over the next year, though, doesn't it? Because you've only got a year, basically.
No, we've signed off this deal for 2024 and 25. I will sit down with the PSC board, with the unions, and we will look to see if we can secure maybe another 1 year, if not 2 year, or even 3 year.
Have you any idea of a figure?
No, we don't. Obviously, I want to listen to what the unions have to say. Both unions have different ideas of what they'd like to see in respect of pay negotiations. My job as the chair is to listen to those negotiations, listen to what they're putting on the table, and see if we can find a compromise which then can go out to ballot and then be accepted as quickly as possible.
What's the highest level the union is asking for?
Well, I haven't been part of these negotiations in years gone by. I know that what we've been looking at is the 4%, which is now signed off. We've looked at 3%, we've looked at 2.5%, and we've looked at 2% plus lump sums. So I know both unions have ideas of what they'd like to see.
Higher than 4%?
No, I'm not going to. There's not higher than 4%. We've got to take into account the inflation figure at any given time. We've also got to listen to what the Treasury Minister says, where departments have been allocated 2% for pay negotiations. We've all got to look at the financial position of the Isle of Man, John. It is in a really difficult place at the moment. And what I'm saying, as the chair of the PSC, that the employees of the Public Service Commission deserve a pay rise, but we've also got to be respectful to the financial position the Isle of Man's facing itself.
It sets a benchmark, doesn't it? It's such a big negotiation.
There is, when you've got other organisations offering high percentages. Obviously, PSC workers will be looking at those high percentages that have been awarded and feel they deserve the same, and they're possibly correct. We will sit down, we'll discuss it. I will listen very carefully to what the unions have to say. I will listen very carefully what the Treasury say in respect to financial pressures. I'm hoping that we can come to some agreement very quickly in 2025, which will benefit not just the PSC workers, but also give certainty to government departments.
You're listening to the Isle of Man's quintessential daily news and current affairs roundup. Update on Manx Radio.
Later this month, Health Minister Claire Christian will ask Tynwald to support her motion to form a committee of 5 members to take evidence and review the governance framework, the division of responsibilities and the statutory relationship between the DHSC and the healthcare body. It comes 4 years after Manx Care came into operation.
Since I've been in place in the last 4 months, I've obviously been myself personally sort of, learning and taking in what's the current climate, let's just say that, with Manx Care and the DHSC. And, we've really been taking stock of that position and assessing what's working well and what perhaps needs identifying as improvements. And the point of appointing a committee is really, we're stakeholders in that. We as the DHSC, I feel like it needs to be more of a united collaboration with Tynwald members to look at a review of the Manx Care and the DHSC, and that's why forming a committee of political members to come and talk to us as a stakeholder and Manx Care and other stakeholders on as I said, what works well, what needs improvement.
I think since the formulation of Manx Care, certainly there's always been a bit of confusion in terms of what falls under what remit. What's the Department of Health, what's Manx Care? Are you hoping that maybe this committee will make that division clearer, maybe?
Yeah, they need to review who does what and then look at, for me, if there's duplication, and efficiencies can be made in terms of a duplication, so that's also one of the key aspects. you're absolutely right. Even as a politician, it can be somewhat confusing. What does the HSE do? What does Manx Care do? I mean, Manx Care deliver the services that the public and the Isle of Man are expecting and used to. And DHSE, as I said, they really are the strategy, the planning and the policy and the regulation and inspections. So that's how it sits right now. But you'll know I'm politically responsible and answering questions currently in either the House of Keys or Tynwald. And at the moment, apart from the board-to-board meetings, the structure, the way that it's set up at the moment, or has been in the past, it's very much their arm's length. It's not, this is their decisions, and they are their decisions. But we need to have more connection between a sort of a political conversation for them to understand what really do the Manx public want. We all work for the Manx public. Even Manx Care work for the Manx public, and that's what's really important. Putting people. That's my mantra. Certainly, I'm saying at every meeting. That the patients and people come first. We've got to drive this through. What do they want? What do they need? What are they expecting?
What's the line here in terms of, because a lot of people are just calling straight away for just scrap Manx Care, start again. What are you hoping will come out of this committee that you can take forward, maybe the public might be receptive to, I suppose?
I totally get it. Another review, but this is the right time. It's 4 years. I'm new in post. I can see myself and have seen myself from the outside what those things that I need to address, but there are other people's opinions, like the Isle of Man Medical Society, for example, Manx Care, etc. Their information needs to be taken into consideration as well.
You're listening to Manx Radio. This is Update. An election candidate for Ramsey's North Ward says residents want to see regeneration and revitalisation in the town. Emma Honey, who works for the Northern Chamber of Commerce, believes the town has a lot of brownfield sites which need developing and repurposing into usable spaces.
I decided to stand for Commissioner after working with the Northern Chamber of Commerce. It really opened my eyes to the challenges that residents and businesses in Ramsey are up against. I just feel like my skills and business experience will help me do positive things for Ramsey.
What made you decide to stand?
Really, it's been talking to residents and business owners. There's a common thread, and it's the desire for regeneration and revitalising the town. So Ramsey's the largest town on the island now, and it's the hub for the north. There's already some revitalisation happening, but we need to keep that momentum going. Keep an open-minded community that listens and supports new ideas, and really work together to make a shared vision for Ramsey, not just for now, but in the future. Reading on social media, as we do, there can be a lot of negativity. It would be really nice to do some great things in the town and flip that into positivity again. Ramsey's a great town, it's got great people, and we've got some great amenities around us.
What are the key points on your manifesto that you'd like people to know?
Well, my fundamental principles are to be open and accountable, to act with honesty and integrity, and act in the best interests of the town and the community. I am committed to the community. I'd love to see pride of place and get Ramsey revitalised.
Emma Honey. The other candidates standing for Ramsey Commissioner's North Ward are Pauline Johns-Garrett, Juan McGuinness, Katrina Nettlat, Andrea Nolan, Elizabeth Shimon, Margaret Webb and Wilf Young. Now, the 26th instalment of the annual Shannick Jew Festival kicks off tomorrow evening. Here's Juan Garrett.
Our programme consists of Céilís, which people can get up and have a go at dancing and learning different dances, and there's concerts, and then there's workshops. There's actually an arts fair and crafts fair part of our calendar as well. So there's a whole range of things for a whole family event, outdoor displays, weather permitting on the Saturday. So we've got a whole range of activities with different groups coming. We've got local performers, local groups performing, and we've got some visitors from other Celtic nations. So a whole package of events and different bits and pieces that people can come along to.
So in terms of that kind of local talent, do you see obviously an age range coming up through the festival over the years as well? Do you see that talent develop?
Yeah, we've been really lucky. We've tried the whole festival started out with really trying to bring young talent through and giving young people the opportunity to play alongside and perform alongside those that have got a little bit of a reputation in their fields already, and so giving them that confidence that they can play and it's not a competitive environment. So we've been really fortunate over our lifespan to see the development of Manx music continue to grow, and Tom Collister and David Kilgallen and Jamie Smith. We're all young people when we started. Now we're coming through to Katie Lawrence's protégés that are coming through that she's taught. Mr. Bolton's from Albert Road, latterly Bunchcall Rumsey, all his talent coming through, like Mira Royal, Frank Jochen, Fraser Caroon. There's a whole range of talent, and we're really fortunate in the Isle of Man that we've had that period of real stability in the Manx music and dance, because the dance is going really well with Skedinjurg, Nafani and Perry Bairn. We've been really fortunate, and so all the local groups pretty much are performing throughout the weekend.
And you see sort of more and more of those artists, some of the ones you mentioned, that are kind of going and performing internationally as well. This isn't just to Manx shores, So do you see them sort of, like you say, that talent develops here and then you get to go and watch them wave the flag elsewhere as well? We've been really lucky, and I think the Isle of Man's really lucky that we've got that continuation of some great talent, and that's come right through the ranks from school days and listen to Manx music and perform Manx music. And so I've mentioned people like Tom Collister, David Kilgallen, Adam Rhodes, Mira Royal, and Isla Collister. There's a whole range of people, but the tunes are getting out there. There's tunes of Pedder Cubley's being performed by acts across the world, people that have been in the game for a long time, and Manx music really has found its feet not just here but internationally as well. So it is credit to everybody that's been involved right the way along. We're really lucky, and long may that continue.
Shinnick Stew kicks off tomorrow evening. Kicking off with sport, here's Rob Pritchard, Faster Mike.
Yeah, Faster Mike, Dave. So we've already heard around motorsport this evening. We're going to continue that theme for just a moment, because Honda Racing UK's team principal is confident that theirs is a team on a swelling wave of momentum going into the 2025 season. Neil Fletcher's comments come as the squad unveiled its look for the 2025 BSB season, which is fast approaching. Separately from that, the manufacturer is expected to tackle the Isle of Man TT and Northwest 200 again this year. For the roads, they'll have two riders this year in John McGuinness and Dean Harrison. Manxman Nathan Harrison, who was part of the Honda Racing UK lineup last year, he'll be running in a Honda-supported satellite team for the coming campaign. And elsewhere in cycling, we've had 3 Ireland riders out competing in international races this afternoon in the Dwars de Vlaanderen one-day World Tour race in Belgium today. We've had Max Walker representing EF Education Easy Post, whilst young Manx competitor Ruby Oakes has been involved in the women's race at the meeting for Das Hutchinson. It's been a successful day for Walker and his teammate, as is his teammate Nielsen Paulus powered to victory. Walker himself was a non-finisher. Meanwhile, the women's event involving Oakes is only just wrapping up this second now, with the final classification still to come. And also Sam Brand has been in action for Team Novo Nordisk at the Paris Camembert one-day race in France, finishing 82nd himself but helping a teammate to finish 7th.